Man, I got a rant real quick that I'm sure that a lot of you guys can empathize with. It's whenever you complete a service for somebody and you're doing it so efficient and so fast. Mind you, you're still doing a quality job, but it upsets your clients or the people you're taking care of. Okay, has anybody ever experienced that? In this video, I want to share with you some recent scenarios that I've ran into, and it was very frustrating for me, man, because I really do put an emphasis on doing quality work, but we are there to get in and get out. We're not playing around on people's yards. I'm not able to pay my guys well whenever we do that. I pay my guys well because we move from yard to yard very quickly, very efficiently, with good equipment, and we know what we're doing, okay? But nevertheless, there are people who would rather see you out there with a push mower struggling to death and taking an hour to do their yard than they would, even if they got a better service that was faster. I am convinced in that there are some people out there that they are not so concerned with the quality of work as they are with seeing how much time it takes you to do something, okay? And let me just go ahead and share with you some recent run-ins that I've had with clients. The most recent one was this guy who told me, he was like, you guys, he's like, I need to cancel my service. And I was like, well, I always like to ask, are you moving or have we done something? Have we dropped the ball? I said, what kind of feedback can you give me on it? He's like, no, he's like, well, y'all done good. But really, I just feel like the juice isn't worth the squeeze. That's what he said. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. And I said, well, can you tell me what it is, that you weren't happy with? And he said, well, honestly, man, he said, y'all are in and out of here in 10 minutes or less. And, I'm paying $45 to have this yard done. And he's like, I just feel like, I should probably be out there doing my own yard, if that's the price for it. And I was like, well, were we not doing a good job or something? He's like, no, y'all did everything you said you were going to. He's like, well, there was this limb one time, that you guys didn't remove off the property. And I was like, well, I want to tell you, we don't remove anything off the property without being asked to. I've had scenarios where people said it's my kid's stick, their toy, they were going to use it for firewood or whatever. So we don't remove anything off your property unless we're asked to, and we send an estimate and get an approval for that, okay? So I said, is there anything else? Like, how did we not do a good job? He's like, no. He said, you guys, you did what you said you were going to do. He's like, I just feel like, with the amount of money that it cost, that you guys were just in and out of here super fast. And I didn't know what to say to that. It's like, well, we have really good equipment. I've been doing this my entire life. And, I just feel like if we're still doing a really good quality job, what's the issue? That's the way I feel about it, right? So here's the second scenario that I ran into. So I had a lady that she told me, the first day that we were there, we cut our yard a certain way. We cut it diagonally. And then the reason that we cut it diagonally was because I'd seen previously either the other lawn care service who had done our yard had started to create some drive tracks and ruts in our yard. And the second time that we were there, we did one service, cut our yard diagonally, kind of like, cross like that. The second time we came, we cut a different direction. Like more just horizontally, not perpendicular, but just straight horizontally. And she literally called and said, I just wanted to let you know that I don't feel like the service was as good this time as it was last time. I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, the first time that you guys did my yard, you cut it in like this angled pattern that looked really, really good. And, I just feel like, you guys were in and out of here. And she's like, and I actually timed it because I knew you guys were fast on the first service, but you guys were in and out of here in 12 minutes. And it cost me $60 to do my yard. And I was like, did something not get done? She's like, well, no, the first time you guys cut it in a diagonal pattern. I said, well, the reason we did that was because I saw drive tracks that were starting in your yard. So we were trying to just smooth those out so we didn't stay in the same lanes as your other lawn care service had been using, obviously, for years. And Bottom line, she was just more concerned that she was paying $60 and we were able to get her yard done in 12 minutes. Mind you, we have a 3-guy crew that was out there. Everybody has a responsibility, but it was a hang up with her. It was a sticking point. She was upset that she was paying $60 and we were able to complete it in 12 minutes. She would have had no problems paying $60 if it took us 45 minutes to do. I'm convinced of that. She was just upset and shocked at the efficiency and how quickly we were able to perform the work. Now, mind you guys, I'm not talking about blowing through somebody's yard at the expense of quality. I'm talking about doing good quality work and doing it very efficiently. There's just a lot of people out there that have a hang up with how quickly you can do the yard. Here's a third example of people being upset with how quickly we've done their yard. Whenever I had first started my lawn care business, I had some accounts over in a neighboring city. I was just taking everything that I could, but this one particular girl, she was a nurse. And I had done her yard. It was a $50 yard, and it was a standard yard, maybe a third to a little over a third of an acre. And I was able to do that yard by myself. Whenever I started out solo, I was able to do that yard in 30 minutes. And I remember one day she told me at her house, she was like, "Gosh," she's like, "Do you feel like is $50 like a normal price for doing the yard?" And I was like, "Well, that's my price, for doing this yard." I said, I don't know what the going rate is for your area, but if somebody's going to come in here and do it for $25, that's not me. I said, I have insurance. I'm a legit company and I do a good job. And she literally said, this is what got me. She said, "Well, I'm a nurse and you're making way more per hour than I am cutting grass." I was just shocked. I would just started my business, so I was trying to be super. Like now, now somebody says that to me as like all bets are off, But I was trying to be so polite in the beginning, but I was just so shocked and taken back that somebody would say that to me, like here I am, like I'm a nurse and I make $30 an hour. But you're coming and cutting my yard in 30 minutes and making $50, and you're making more. And it was a hang up with her. It was upsetting to her that I was able to do that. Never mind the investment that I made in equipment, that I knew how to do these yards quickly because I've been doing it my whole life. And mind you, I was still doing really good quality work. It was a hang up for her at how quickly I was doing the job and how much money I was making per hour. Okay, and the final scenario that I ran into a few weeks ago was a guy, we got a call back actually for the quality of the work that was done. And it is extremely rare that we will get a call back for the work that we do. Again, because we want to do a good job for our clients. That's just something that I talk to our guys about. Yeah, we're going to get in and get out, but we're going to do a good job for them. So it's very rare that we get a call back. But I got a call back to this guy's yard, and he sent me a text and said that he felt like the service was really sloppy, and I was like, wow, I haven't heard that before, so let's go and check it out. So I got my truck and I actually drove over to this place, and I wanted to put eyes on the sloppiness that he was talking about, and as we started talking, same thing. He pointed out, one area that, guys, it was around a tree. You know how like whenever you don't want to weed eat up next to an ornamental tree that is not protected by a flower bed, you leave some of the grass around it so you're not stripping the bark off of it with your string trimmer. That's exactly what the guys had done. They didn't weed eat all the way up to the tree. They were protecting the bark of the tree because the property owner had not placed any mulch bed or protective barrier around this tree that he had planted. And he had pointed that out, and I had told him the reason why that area was not trimmed. And he said, well, these guys just came in and out of here, and they did all 3 of these houses right here, and they were in and out in less than 20, 25 minutes. And he's like, I just know, that something wasn't done right for y'all to get in and out of here and blow and go like that. And he's like, I just saw that over there. And I was like, well, is there anything else? Like what? I mean, and I'm looking out at the yard, and the yards it looks good. Like it looks good. And I'll be honest with you, man, I called him out on it. I was like, look, I said, it's very rare that we get callbacks, and what you're talking about over here, I said, this is the reason those guys did that. In the future, you either need to get a protective barrier around this area or not call me back for this right here, because I will physically have to come back and look at the quality of work. But everything that I'm seeing here, unless you're pointing out something else to me, is there anything else that was not done right? Man, there was nothing else he could point out, dude. Like, there's nothing else he could point out because it was all done right. But again, at the end of the day, he was upset that our crew had come in there and banged out 3 houses in a row and had done it in about 20-25 minutes. It was just upsetting to him as he's sitting there doing the math in his head, and how much money they're probably making doing those houses like that. So again, I go back to, there are people, guys, that would rather see you out there for 45 minutes with a push mower, wiping the sweat off your brow, dying in the Florida heat, man, the humidity, that Louisiana heat, man, that Georgia heat, like whatever it is, man, like people would rather see you out there. Not everybody, but there's just some people who don't feel like they're getting their money's worth if they don't see you working your butt off. And I say this as as nice as I can, but it's a poor people mindset. It truly is. Whenever somebody's looking at you and they start doing time in their head and start thinking about, oh my gosh, well, I'm paying him this much and it's only taking him this long to do it. That is a poor person's mindset, okay? That's what people who live in a paycheck to paycheck mentality think about, okay? They're not thinking about value. It doesn't matter if I snap my fingers and the yard is completely done perfectly. What if I could show up to their property, snap my fingers, and the yard's done? Is that worth $60? It is, because you're paying for an end result. You're right? That's value. You're paying for an end result. But there's people out there who have a poor person's mindset. Do not let other people's mindset, their poor mindset, dictate how you do things at your company. You get in, you get out, you do quality work, you do it good. You deliver value, and if you got clients that don't see that you're delivering value, probably need to get rid of them.